want to preface what I'm going to say with, we had no idea what we were walking into when we booked our flight to Chile.
Buenos dias! We are in Santiago, Chile. We are staying in the Bellas Artes community, which is known to be very bohemian and artistic. All we're doing right now, we just left our Airbnb. We're gonna go find some breakfast. Let's just look around. We came to a cafe around the corner, a beautiful cafe. They asked us for our C19, which is basically a certificate of, it proves something, like our identity, that we're vaccinated and everything like that. And apparently the Ministry of Health actually goes around sometimes asking random people to prove it. And ours, well, I didn't have mine on me, but also always somehow expired, even though we did it yesterday.
The QR code, she scanned the QR code.
She scanned the QR, but has expired somehow. So I have no idea why this is so strict. The amount of hoops that we've had to go through just to come here. We're right now trying to get our boarding passes because COVID complicates absolutely everything. With the health declaration, and we needed to have health insurance. So just having trouble with them verifying everything, but we should be getting our boarding passes. And hopefully Chile doesn't give me a problem when I try to enter the country. I don't know how this week is gonna go. Hello. We just made it to one of the spots, Plaza de Armas, and we're going to meet our tour guide in a few minutes. We're meeting him by the horse statue.
After having already been in Santiago for a few days and experiencing strict restrictions and hearing rumors about protests, we decided to meet with someone that was going to give us a tour of the city, as well as some insight into what is going on in Chile.
We have had 4 doses. They are talking about the 5 doses. Now.
5? Wait, so everybody has 4?
No, most people have 3.
3. That's still a lot.
Our guide proceeded to explain to us the restrictions he and the rest of Chile faced during the pandemic, from being required to only leave the house 2 hours at a time, to not being able to buy items such as undergarments, makeup, and bed sheets, to the mask mandate just being lifted a month before. Although 91.9% of Chile has been fully vaccinated, it feels somewhat like 2020 here.
Why are you guys still wearing masks? Why are there so many restrictions as if it just started, like 2020?
I don't know. From April 14, that the face mask is not mandatory in the streets.
It's not?
It's not. So you can remove it.
But everybody wears it.
Everybody wears it anyway. I think it's a way to enhance a little bit, but you can remove it. It's not a problem.
Really?
Really, it's not a problem. It's not
Oh
mandatory.
my gosh! I've never seen so many people willingly wear it.
It's not mandatory. I cannot make it mandatory anyway. So it's optional right now. You have to use it in the public transportation, in restaurant, and everything that is indoor. But outside, it's not mandatory. And it's very recent.
I'm shocked.
It was forbidden to buy underwear or socks or, I don't know, things for your bed.
Why?
Bed clothing.
Because you couldn't return it, or
because people thought at that point that those measures could reduce the amount of people that were going to go outside their houses, and that could impact to decrease the number of people. It was insane, really.
Yeah, that sounds insane.
still blows my mind. And what's your vaccine called, or do you guys have your own, or?
There are several different vaccines.
Okay.
We have Sinovac, Coronavac. I have 2 Sinovac and 1 Pfizer. Pfizer, Moderna, Casino.
Our guide also shares with us that Sinovac decided to buy property to create a vaccine plant in Santiago. As we continued exploring Santiago's city center, we started seeing graffiti on restaurants, churches, residential buildings, basically everywhere. The people seemed quiet and very reserved. We learned from a Facebook group that there were protests happening in Santiago at the moment, right where we were expected to stay. We started doing some digging, and the graffiti on the walls started to make sense with Chile's recent past. It seems to have all started in October of 2019 in Santiago. Protests developed as a response to the increase in fare prices for Santiago's public transportation system. It then developed into protests for inequality, pensions, and cost of living. The Chilean citizens took to the streets and began setting fires and vandalizing the city. The president of Chile at the time was Sebastián Piñera. He declared a state of emergency and sent the Chilean army to the streets to mitigate the situation. The protests developed into riots, and there were many injured and even killed. Over 1.2 million people took to the streets to protest inequality and demand Piñera's resignation as president. It's safe to say everyone wanted him out.
Eres mentiroso. Eres mentiroso. ¿Sabes algo que escondes, asqueroso? ¡Asesinos!
Following the protest in 2019, in November, Congress signed an agreement to hold a referendum to rewrite the country's constitution. However, the referendum was rescheduled for October 2020 because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
There was this old lady that was in a Pikachu costume, and she was like dancing like Pikachu, and she became an Instagram sensation. And she was elected to write the constitution.
Oh my god!
Although you might come across some cartoon characters or seemingly comical moments at some of the protests, keep in mind the violence and anger was and is very real.
¿Por qué le pegaste?
Became at one point the estallido social, social explosion. Product of that, as a result of that, there was a referendum made to choose if we want a new constitution. They then chose people. I have never seen a division so predominant today as they were in the dictatorship. There are like 115 people working.
Okay, that's a lot.
It's a lot of people working, but they are proving some much stupid things that really, well, I cannot take I usually try to take to be neutral, but in this case I cannot be so neutral. Around 300 to 400 supermarkets were looted here in Santiago. You could see people with vans, with huge vans, taking refrigerators, TV sets, stealing them from the supermarkets.
And how did everything calm down after? Because that's a crazy.
It only calmed down when the referendum was made to choose to write a new constitution, but it hasn't stopped. Every Friday there's a manifestation or something like that. So that's kind of like, it's there but it's not there. It can happen at any time.
Okay. And they're still protesting the same things, or is it something new?
It goes changing in time. Okay. There's always an excuse to make a manifestation. Sexual abuse in schools, for example. Sexual abuse, Catholic Church, feminism are topics that are very important here.
Chile is in the midst of fighting for their beliefs and rights. Although we didn't know what to expect when we arrived, We are grateful to have had our eyes opened on what other countries are going through to live peacefully and happily. The next time we visit, we hope to see the residents of Chile no longer having to fight.